Hi, and welcome to Biz 205 Marketing and Creativity. This is an introduction to marketing strategy formation. Some of the concepts that are covered here, you actually will be reading in the marketing strategy framework formation from your Harvard course pack, which is part of this module. But this PowerPoint is meant to, number one, introduce you to marketing, discuss what marketing really is. There are some common misconceptions about what marketing is. We're going to cover that, and then cover the framework itself to emphasize some very key concepts that you'll be reading in your Harvard course pack for this module. So to begin with, there are some very common myths of marketing, specifically what marketing is not. So marketing is not all about advertising. Advertising is a component of the marketing strategy formation process. However, it is not marketing in and of itself. Marketing is not all about selling. And again, just like advertising, selling is part of the marketing strategy formation process, but it is not marketing itself. Marketing is not all about the sizzle. Sometimes people think about marketing as glitzy, glamorous ads, much like Super Bowl Sunday, some of the leading into Super Bowl Sunday. What most of the talk about, aside from the teams that are going to be playing, are the commercials, the exciting, glamorous, glitzy commercials. That is a part of the marketing strategy formation process, and specifically part of integrated marketing communications plan to reach a specific consumer, a specific segment, but it is not all about that. There are some people think that marketing is inherently unethical or harmful to society. This is not to say that there aren't some marketers out there that don't try to market using unethical means, but by and large, marketing is not unethical or harmful. Only marketers market. That is definitely not the case. In any organization, every person that's part of that organization markets for that organization. People who, for instance, act in a customer service capacity in an organization, probably very key marketing individuals in that organization. Marketing is not just another cost center in a firm. When you're developing marketing strategy, and specifically I emphasize this to small business owners, marketing is an investment. So always consider marketing an investment, because without focused marketing strategy and without investment in effective marketing, you can't grow a business. So don't think of it as an expense or a cost center. Think of it as an investment. So why are all these things important? Why is it important to know what marketing is not and to dispel myths of marketing? Because marketing is a comprehensive ongoing process. We're going to discuss that more in just a little bit. Um, and it can be detrimental to a firm to focus just on some very precious resources, in like just one area is advertising. Again, advertising is an example of something that's part of the marketing strategy process. So always think of components of marketing in the context of an overall strategy. And it's critical that marketing strategy is also aligned with an organization's overall objectives. For instance, if an organization's objectives for a particular time frame, let's say for a 12-month period, is to grow revenue by 10%, the marketing strategy should be aligned with that. And it's marketing strategy formation is an investment in sustained profitability. So what that means is it's a long-term vision. It's not just about a short-term gain. It's some profitability that is sustained over a period of time. So now that we know what marketing is not, what is marketing actually? Well, by definition, according to the American Marketing Association, it's the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. So in other words, comprehensive value. So I have this image of Alverno College and its key stakeholders to sort of give you an idea. So here's Alverno, and the marketing strategy formation, or the marketing that Alverno does, is to create value for its stakeholders, so comprehensive value. Value is the word I'm emphasizing now is at the core of marketing. And what it is the benefits that a customer derives from your product or service. And that marketing seeks to make an exchange for that value, usually money, to obtain your product or service. So again, for marketing strategy to be effective, it has to be in alignment with an organization's overall goals and objectives. Therefore, according to Peter Drucker, a noted marketing expert, concern and responsibility for marketing must therefore permeate all areas of the enterprise. And what that means is every area of an organization, all departments, and that those goals and objectives be focused, clear, and purpose-driven. So even though this book is not required reading for this course, a book that I recommend either from a leadership perspective or to effectively form sustainable marketing strategy is a book called Start With Why. And I gleaned a few very key concepts from that book. Those who inspire have the most loyal customers and most loyal employees. And they are able to create a following of people who act, not because they were swayed, but because they were inspired. So I want you to keep that word in mind throughout this course when we're working to develop marketing strategy about inspiring consumers, not manipulating them. And leadership is also at the core of this. So developing leadership skills can make you a better marketer because the people who truly lead are able to create a following of people who act, not because they were swayed, but because, again, they were inspired. And this is really important. And when we get to the framework and the 5 C's, I'm really going to get more into it. But most companies have no idea why their customers are their customers. And that is really dangerous. It's a very, very bad thing. It's very important to know why your customers are your customers. This means getting to know them, who they are, not just from a demographic standpoint, but also what are their lifestyles, their values, their spending habits. We're going to get really deep into that further into the course when we get into segmentation. And again, according to the book, there are only 2 ways to influence this type of behavior. You can manipulate it or you can inspire it. Again, focus on that word, inspiring the consumer. And this is extremely key. So if you develop a marketing strategy that's meant to manipulate, please bear in mind that this does not breed loyalty, and the gains are short-term. Loyalty is really key. And I want to emphasize right here at this point that there's a difference between a loyal customer and a return customer. When manipulations are the norm, no one wins. The key takeaway from that book too is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So I want you to think about this from a consumer perspective. I want you to stop and think for a second about purchases you make. Any brands that you're loyal to. Think why you're loyal to those brands, why you purchase what you purchase. It's typically because there's some type of thing some type of value connection. And that is the why. So from your Harvard course pack and the initial reading that you're going to be doing, you're going to be presented with this framework for marketing strategy formation. For purposes of this course, we're really going to be focusing on the planning, analysis, and research components of the 6 parts of the marketing process. But I want you to pay special attention to this. That marketing strategy formation is an ongoing cyclical process. It's not something you do once and then do again another 5 years and another 5 years after that. It's something that's always ongoing, especially from the perspective of analysis and research. The main reason for this is the competitive landscape changes, the economy changes, consumer spending, consumer likes and dislikes change, and it's important to keep up with that over time and always be tweaking and changing your marketing strategy to adapt to those environmental changes. So beneath this framework are the 3 interrelated elements of the marketing strategy formation process. For the first part of the course, we're going to be really focusing on this, the analysis, the 5 C's that you're going to be reading about in this module. And this has to come first. You cannot effectively form marketing strategy unless you do this analysis. analysis of your customer, and it's in bold because the customer analysis should come first. Analysis of your company, your resources, your strengths, weaknesses. Analysis of your competition, your collaborators, any partners, business partners, and contacts, which means what do you hope to achieve in the market? And again, effective strategy formation requires analyzing customer first. All these other analyses are guided by your customer analysis. So once you've performed this comprehensive analysis, that provides you with a foundation of very strong information to make informed decisions, which is part of the 2 A's. Aspiration decision. What actions are needed to achieve your hopes, your goals, your objectives? And we're going to get to segmentation, targeting, and positioning. But for now, I want you to bear in mind you cannot do any of this without first doing this. If you try to make these decisions, if you try to decide what actions you're going to take to form a marketing strategy without first having done this, you're setting yourself up to fail. So putting thoughtful, meaningful work into the analysis, making sound decisions based on the analysis, you will then realize these outcomes. Acquisition, which is purchase of your product or service, a buy rate, customer retention, and then sales, profitability, and perhaps franchising. So your role as a marketing manager, and I want you to think of the analysis, decision, and outcomes as this very simple equation, A plus D equals O. And again, emphasizing conducting the analysis to support facilitating making the decisions. So again, your role as a marketing manager, and you are acting in the capacity of a marketing manager for purposes of this course, is leading and managing facets of marketing to improve individual, unit, and organizational performance. And in your role as a marketing manager, again, customer analysis must come first, and all the other analyses are guided by answering these 2 questions. Who is your buyer? And how is their purchase decision made? And start thinking like a consumer, because we're going to get into areas of this course where you're going to be doing some analysis to identify consumer purchase habits and some other statistics and characteristics about ideal markets. But think about, again, the things that you purchase, the products or services, your spending habits, and what drives your purchase decisions.